If someone is a good writer, what would you say is his motivation to publish something on NowPublic and not maybe on his own blog?
Well, we let people and we encourage them if they want to publish in both places. And our experience is that most people who are doing that are not doing it because they want to get paid. And in most cases where you've got a paid model in place, the people who are getting paid aren't getting paid very much anyway. So the motivation is often, the primary motivation that people have to contribute to our site is they want to express themselves and they've got something they want to say. And they also want to connect with people who are kind of like-minded or share a similar experience or have expertise or have some kind of community bond. So it's really about building community. And so you can write something and post it on your own blog and that's fine. And that helps you get the word out, but it's not going to help you connect with other people like you can on NowPublic. Our objective is to make it as easy as possible. And so we do a lot of work in terms of usability and kind of walking people through the one step at a time, so it's not too overwhelming. You know, you click the button, you write your headline, then you write your story, and then you tag it, and then you can add photos, and then you can change the layout of the story. So we've spent a lot of time trying to make it as simple as possible, because our assumption is that you have no journalistic training. You are a complete amateur, and you just have something you want to say, and we want to try and make it as simple as possible for the largest possible number of people.
Is that something that traditional media maybe lack, that they have an audience or a readership which is usually loyal to them, and most of those readers probably would contribute if it was made easy for them, but the way it's done is they got to write a letter to the editor, and maybe it will look at, maybe not, and maybe they will publish it, maybe not, and that's kind of off-putting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's and I think that's one of the advantages we have against North America. We have CNN and iReport, and iReport was in some ways kind of a rip-off of NowPublic a couple of years ago, which we consider flattery. But basically, CNN allows you to upload your photographs and video and so forth. But one of the reasons I think people find it off-putting, as you say, is because they don't know if their stuff's going to see the light of day, and is it really going to get on CNN, and are they really just wasting their time by even uploading their material? Whereas NowPublic, the entire premise of the news organization was to encourage people to post that stuff. We don't have an editorial sort of objective here. Our objective is to just allow people to say whatever they want to say. We have terms and conditions, and we've got a code of conduct that you can read on the site. And if people stray from that, and we notice it, we'll flag it and say, look, you're not playing by the rules here, and either correct your story or we're going to have to unpublish it. We have the website itself, as you say, and then we also have a platform that this is the enterprise platform that we've built called Scan, and Scan works very much that way, where it literally plugs into any other media organization. So if you're the New York Times and you don't want to do all the citizen journalism stuff yourself, you can effectively plug our solution right into it. So yeah, we're very much a believer in the platform. It's an API, which is kind of geek speak for a structured set of queries. You can ask the database to give you all the photographs about whatever it is, and it'll just give you the raw information. So we're very much believers in that.
How's your relationship towards traditional media? Are you viewed by them more as competitors or as collaborators and possible partners? For example, here, local Vancouver Sun?
Yeah, we. I would hope generally it's the latter, and that people see us as partners, because we certainly see mainstream media as our partners. I think that there's still a huge valuable role for mainstream media to play, traditional journalism to play in getting news out, and it's becoming more and more challenging for them to make the economic picture work. But I think we provide mainstream media with a cost-effective feed of content into places that they can't be, because we can be pretty much anywhere at any time, and they simply can't afford to do that. And then they provide for us, in some cases, validation, authentication of claims that are put forward but aren't necessarily tested. So I think that there's a really good relationship that mainstream media and so-called citizen journalism can play in working together. So I would say partnership. Although we're also competing for audience too.
What could be possible areas of partnership? Where could you collaborate?
Well, the first example that we're involved in is with this project we're working actually with the Vancouver Sun here in Vancouver, and so we have a tool that, for instance, if you're at the train platform and there's an accident, God forbid, and you're down there on the platform and you're, say, twittering about it or you're posting photographs to Flickr, the tool can actually identify those stories as they bubble up and then provide a way for that content to then be embedded and shown within the context of the Vancouver Sun. So citizen journalists or people who are just participating in the media can break news stories, or in the event that the story is already known and is unfolding, they can contribute to it as eyewitnesses or as experts or as people who are there on the scene, and that's typically the way that these collaborations work. It's not that different from the way that news has been practiced since the beginning of time. It's always, news has always relied on tipsters, and news has always relied on people who were there who have the photograph. It's just, in the old days, that person would send their film into the newspaper, and the newspaper would then print it. Well, we just have a different distribution mechanism now.
Will you think that platforms like this one will play an increasingly important role in the future?
Yeah, I would expect that. Like I said, I think it's very inexpensive for news organizations to tap into this wealth of content. They just need the technology to do it, do it effectively, which is hard. It's technically difficult to do, but once you get it right, there's an incredible amount of value in terms of information and content out there. So I think it can reduce the cost of operating a news organization, while at the same time it can elevate the content and provide better content for readers and a deeper relationship with their user base or their reader base, their readership, because now all of a sudden people are socially connected to their newspaper in a way that they haven't been maybe since the beginning of newspapers.
What would be the role of trained journalists in such a collaborative model?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think that their role is increasingly going to be analysis and expertise and perspective and providing a kind of deeper, more thoughtful view on information as it's unfolding. And I think the whole process of news gathering is going to be crowdsourced or outsourced to the readership in many cases.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, for this interview.
Thank you.